Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Jay. I want to talk about something that happened a couple of uh, days ago, and that was the conclusion of the landmark children television series, Arthur. Arthur, of course, about fourth grade aardvark kid um, born in a fictional city, Elwood City, which I guess is based on a suburb outside of Boston because the show was produced in Boston. It was based on the popular series of children's books um, by Mark about said character. Um, this show was on the air for 25 years. It was the longest running animated show um, for specifically for children. Other animated shows are, other long running animated shows like, for example, the longest running animated show, The Simpsons. They're kind of made for adults, but this was made for children. It started in 1996, and of course, like I said, it's from the books of Mark Brown. It was developed by Kathy Wah, and it was very popular in Montreal, very popular in um, productions based out of Montreal and productions based out of Boston, and it tackled a lot of different issues. It was one of the first children's shows to tackle same-sex marriage, and specifically its spin-off, Postcards from Buster, in 2005. And it was a big controversy when it did tackle that because Buster had gone to this. The premise of the spin-off show was that Buster Baxter, his friend, would travel around with his parents to different cities, and they would meet with certain kids, and they would have these candid interviews with certain kids. And when he met with one kid had um, lesbian parents, two moms, and Buster says, "Wow, that's a lot of moms," and the kid says, "Yeah, mom and a stepmom." So it was basically exposing um, children to um, different types of families, specifically LGBT families. And at this time, in 2005, Oprah Field had been passed, and really, same-sex marriage or same-sex relationship and same-sex parentage wasn't something that was normalized in the culture. At that point, it was still to the point where politicians were being very evasive about it. People in the government and people in society were being very evasive about it. But here's this children's show introducing people to something. A lot of times, that's where we're exposed to different ideas. Alternative ideas, alternative ways of thinking and ways of living is through television. Think about the moral panic and the panic that existed around HIV and AIDS, and how much easier it made to discuss the issues of HIV and AIDS once, say, Magic Johnson came out as having it in 1992, or The Real World featured that episode, The Real World San Francisco, with the character of Pedro. Okay, we've seen it on our TV screens. Now we can discuss it. Now it becomes easier to discuss amongst ourselves. And this was the exact same thing. Because we saw it on a children's program, a long-standing children's program that was very popular, it was easier to discuss with our children. Yes, so and so in school might have a different, two moms or two dads. It became a way to communicate with our kids, and that's what media should do. That's what specifically educational media on the public airwaves, PBS, should do, is open a dialogue, open a conversation between families. That's what this did, you know. And later on in the seasons, Mr. Ratburn was revealed as gay, and he had a historic gay wedding. So it's not just same-sex parentage from postcards and Buster, but also same-sex marriage. Other other topics that they would discuss is bullying, diabetes, dyslexia, which Blinky had. Blinky, one of the kids, I think I forgot what Blinky species was, but that was discussed. Bullying was also discussed in several. Also, different religions. Brain was revealed as African American, so he would celebrate Kwanzaa, and that would give a chance. Um, Different religions and traditions that was an avenue that people could use to discuss, Kwanzaa. Frenchie was Jewish, and that was an avenue where we could use that to discuss Hanukkah and explain to kids about other types of December traditions other than just Christmas, which they're already familiar with. So Arthur, much like its predecessor Sesame Street on PBS, was opening kids' minds and expanding their knowledge about various topics, different cultures, different themes. Empathy was another big one. Empathy was discussed a lot on Arthur, particularly how he was really bullied in the fourth grade because of his nerdy and bookish looks. It was like, okay, yeah, well, we empathize with this character. Um, and the struggles that he's going through. I really liked. I was exposed to Arthur before 1996, before it started on the air, and in occupational therapy, where they had the interactive video game of Arthur and the books of Arthur. The books were published by Mark Brown starting in 1976, and then Kathy Waugh and he began to want to adapt it in the 90s to for television. Well, in the last episode, it was interesting. They show Arthur all grown up. They show all the characters all grown up. Francine is running for mayor of Elwood City. Um, DW is a cop, which fits her perfectly because she was a snitch on the show. She was your typical little sister character, always snitching and shit like that. And it's just a peek into the future of what the characters of Elwood City would do. The song, which was called the song was called "Believe in Yourself," and it was done by Ziggy Marley, Bob Marley's son. It was kind. I always felt it was kind of a calypso, reggae inspired song, and it was actually covered by the Backstreet Boys. Um, in the 2000s, and the Backstreet Boys did make an appearance there. One of the things that was very interesting about the show, different than other long running animated shows, was that it it had a rotating cast of voice actors. Not every They didn't stick with the same voice actors over and over. You know, there was a litany of voice actors for different characters. Uh, for Buster, his friend, for Francine, for Muffy, and for Arthur himself. A different array of characters. And during the 2000s, Arthur became famous for another reason. He became a staple of meme culture. We would see different funny memes of Arthur, the, the the character, buttoning up his pants as he would leave Francine's house because a lot of people shipped Francine and Arthur. You would see pictures of Arthur when you wanted to express that you were mad. You would see pictures of Arthur's fist boiled up, you know, in a ball. He became a staple of meme culture in the 2010s. And it was like, damn, you're taking this childhood staple that we all grew up in the 90s and making it into some shit, meme shit. But it was funny. It was funny as hell. You know, Arthur had a new life, a new reinvigoration. Millennials took, just like they're doing with everything else, took what they grew up with, internalized, and it was part of their culture, and gave it to the rest of the world. But anyway, I'm going to miss Arthur. I'm going to miss the show. Buster was always my favorite character because he was funny and he was always looking to eat something, you know? And when they did the spin-off postcards from Buster, I liked it because he went around to different geographical locations all around the world and met with these different kids. And you would get a peek into the foods these kids ate, the traditions that their families practiced. One time they went to Dearborn, Michigan, which is um, this basically the epicenter, has the largest Arab American and Muslim American population in the United States. Another time they went to New York City's El Barrio, East Harlem, and Buster ate pateles. You know, just like with Sesame Street, you would see a slice of life that you really wouldn't see in in other parts of you know outside of your general area. You wouldn't really see, but postcards with Buster, you would travel all around the world. Obviously, the producers felt the same way I did about Buster because he got his own series. So I'm gonna miss Arthur, and I'm gonna miss um, the shows I used to watch it, especially what myself growing up, but also when my daughter was growing up and stuff. So with her, one of those shows on PBS Kids, that was a staple. Anyway, guys, it's been real. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell button to see my next videos coming out. Love you.